أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. قال له صاحبه وهو يحاوره: أكفرت بالذي خلقك من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم سواك رجلا لكنا هو الله ربي ولا أشرك بربي أحدا ولولا إذ دخلت جنتك قلت ما شاء الله لا قوة إلا بالله إن ترني أنا أقل منك مالا وولدا فعسى ربي أن يؤتيني خيرا من جنتك ويرسل عليها حسبانا من السماء فتصبح صعيدا زلقا أو يصبح ماؤها غورا فلن تستطيع له طلبا وأحيط بثمره فأصبح يقلب كفيه على ما أنفق فيها وهي خاوية على عروشها ويقول يا ليتني لم أشرك بربي أحدا ولم تكن له فئة ينصرونه من دون الله وما كان منتصرا هنالك الولاية لله الحق هو خير ثوابا وخير عقبا واضرب لهم مثل الحياة الدنيا كماء إن أنزلناه من السماء فاختلط به نبات الأرض فأصبح هشيما تذروه الرياح وكان الله على كل شيء مقتدرا المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أمالا. These are verses starting from 37. Let's read the translation first and we'll go.
Said his companion to him, and he was conversing with him, do you deny him who created you from dust, then from a drop, then he made you a perfect man? As for me, I believe that Allah is my Lord, and I do not associate anyone with my Lord. Why, when you enter your garden, did you not say, everything is as Allah wills? There is no power except with Allah. If you see me inferior to you in wealth and children, then it is likely that my Lord will give me what is better than your garden, and will send it to a punishment from the heavens, and it will become a barren land. Or its waters will sink deep in the earth, so that you will never be able to search it out. And its produce was overwhelmed by calamities, and he stood wringing his hands in anguish over what he had invested in it, while it was fallen down on its trellises, and he was saying, I wish I had not ascribed any partner to my Lord. There were no supporters for him beside Allah who could come to his help, nor was he able to defend himself. That is where the power of protection rests with Allah, the true God. He is the best in rewarding and best in requiting. Give them the example of the worldly life. It is like water we sent down from the sky, then the vegetation of the earth was mingled with it, and then it turned into a shaft that is blown by the winds, and Allah is powerful over everything. Wealth and children are the embellishment of the worldly life, and the everlasting virtues are better with your Lord, both in rewards and in creating good hopes.
Jazakallah khair. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه بعد. Here the other half of the conversation between the believer and the disbeliever. And we talked last week about who they are and the different opinions about who are these two individuals exactly. And we said the Quran never told us من هما, يعني who are they? لأنه لا فائدة. There is no benefit from knowing their names or which country from. The point is to learn that what happened between them. So the believer now telling to the disbeliever who was so arrogant, who was so blind by his wealth, power, children, servants, power, status, أعز نفرا. All these, this word nafar, it means children, family, status, أكثر من كمالا, I have more money than you, I have better position in the society than you. So he's so arrogant to the extent that he said, I don't think the day of judgment is coming, and if it comes, I will have even better in the day of judgment. So the believer here telling him, did you disbelieve in the one who have created you basically from nothing, out of dust? He created you out of dust. And we talked last week how this is a very good example, because when he reminded him that dust which is worth nothing, so you whole thing worth nothing. So don't be arrogant, don't be showing off, don't let your money tempt you, because you started from nothing and so easy you can go back to it. Also, if you think there is no resurrection because people die and turn to dust, Allah brought you from dust. كانوا يظنون أن الإنسان إذا مات واختلط, if the person mixed with the sand and the ground, خلاص nobody can resurrect him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I created you from the same thing, from this land, from the earth. We know that Allah created Adam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He took 4 handful of dust or clay from the four corners of the earth. Okay? North, south, east, west. Mix them together, and from that mud, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam. From that mud that it was taken from basically represent every side on the earth, Adam was created and fashioned, his body. Anyway, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminding him here, this man, of the where you came from. And also not only that, that's the far beginning. But closer than that you came also from ثُمَّ مِن نُطْفَةٍ ثُمَّ سَوَّاكَ رَجُلًا. That then out of nutfah, mixed drops of male and female sexual discharge. So He made you out of this to take that arrogant away. Remember where you started from, something lowly sperm, as Mutarrif once said it, and fashioned you into a man. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the one who made you as a man, so you should not deny Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَكِنَّا هُوَ اللَّهُ. But as for my part, I believe that He is Allah. لكن قلنا لكم في الأسبوع الماضي, for those who benefit, أصل الكلام لكن أنا, يعني لكن أنا أدغمت النون وقيل لكن أنا لكن هو الله, لكن أنا أقول في تقدير كلمة أقول, I say that هو الله ربي ولا أشرك بربي أحدا. He is my Lord and I don't commit shirk, I don't associate other with Allah. SubhanAllah, يعني this person who have nothing, who have very little, but still mu'min, still a believer. I always ask myself this question: who you think more should be grateful and thankful to Allah? The one who is so poor or the one who is so rich? You would assume that. The one who has so much, you would think he will be more grateful to Allah, more closer to Allah. So that's what we'd expect. But unfortunately, sometimes people became arrogant and they don't see that. You don't see it that way. So he said, as for me, Allah is my Lord, and I will not associate other with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and none shall I associate as a partner with my Lord. وَلَا أُشْرِكُ بِرَبِّي أَحَدًا. أشرك هذا مصدر. طيب لا أشرك هذا الكلام يعني لا إشراكا أصل الكلام وتقديره لا إشراكا به. And that shows that any form of shirk, it will never happen from me. It's a very general statement. هذا يقتضي العموم. هذا التقدير يعني لا إشراكا به. هذا الطريقة في الكلام هي صيغة من صيغ العموم. So here he denied any form of shirk. لا أشرك به لا أشرك بربي أحدا. أحدا أيضا نكرة تفيد العموم. Anyone. So that means this statement of the man shows you two things, two things to learn. Number one, there is multiple form of shirk and I will never commit any one of them. هناك أنواع من الشرك لا يقع منها شيء مني مطلقا. So I will not have shirk in Allah's rububiyyah, being the creator, being this. I will not have shirk when it comes to shirk. It means associating. Is that clear? Shirk, the word shirk means to associate other with Allah. الشرك هو أن تقرن غير الله بالله. To associate other than Allah with Allah. كان كثير من العلماء, pay attention to this. A lot of scholars, when they write about shirk, they misunderstand the concept of shirk completely. They think a shirk هو التسوية. They think a shirk is to make someone similar to Allah. And that's absolutely not correct. Not correct. Linguistically, nor Islamically. A shirk never meant that you make someone similar to Allah to the same level. No. Just associating something with Allah in one of Allah's special qualities, that's shirk. Even if you don't believe they are equal. That's why when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked one of the mushrikeen, how many gods you have? He said 7. 6 in the earth, and 1 in the heavens. He said, who's the one that you rely on the most, you believe in the most? He said, the one in the heavens. He said, khalas, leave the one in the earth. So he never actually believed that those one equal to Allah, but he's still mushrik. You know, if you ask Abu Jahl, Abu Lahab, all these guys, all these mushrikeen during the Prophet's time, ما كان أحد منهم أبدا يعتقد, none of them ever believe that Allah is equal to their gods and their deities and their statues. Never. They used to make in Hajj their talbiyah, they said, لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك إلا شريكا هو لك ملكته وما ملك. They used to say, we don't associate partner with you except a partner who you own and he doesn't own you. You own, Ya Allah, this partner, and you control him, and that partner don't control you. So they know for 100% sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is higher level than anyone else. Anyway, so here when he said no form of shirk in any areas, and no shirk which is minor or major, وَلَا أُشْرِكْ بِرَبِّي أَحَدًا, with my Lord, anyone. That one could be an angel, could be a prophet, could be a rock, could be any form, anything that people will take with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he told him, وَلَوْلَا إِذْ دَخَلْتَ جَنَّتَكَ. It was better for you to say, when you enter your garden, مَا شَاءَ اللَّهِ. Ya salam. The word مَا شاء Allah, that he, yani Allah, my Lord, is none, that you should say, that which, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that which Allah wills will come to pass. ما شاء الله. يعني ما شاء الله يكون وما لم يشاء لا يقع. He is saying, the word ما شاء Allah means that you admitting that whatever Allah wills will pass, will happen. And whatever He never wills will never happen. And this is part of our belief in Al-Qadar. That you always know that everything happened in the world, it is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed it to happen. And if nothing happened in the world, it didn't happen because Allah never allowed it to happen. I have a question for you. Why this man choose this fact to explain it to the disbeliever? Why he told him about MashaAllah? Why he didn't say anything else? Why he chose MashaAllah? Huh? Why he didn't say taqillah, fear Allah, whatever? Why did he say MashaAllah? Whatever Allah wills will pass. Whatever else, yes? Ya salam. So what you have, what you possess, it is because Allah allowed it to happen. And if Allah didn't allow it to happen, you wouldn't have it. And that shows كلمة ما شاء الله تنفي مطلق القدرة عن العبد. That you don't possess an absolute power over things. That you as a human being, whatever you will, it doesn't happen, it doesn't necessarily to happen. Why? لأن ما عندك القوة لإيقاع. You don't have the power to say anything I will, it will happen. You don't have that power. That's right. If I say I have the will to lose weight. Did it happen? You can see that. Okay? I had the will, but it's struggling. I have the will to walk 2 miles. Didn't happen. I have the will to do this, not to do that, but it still happened. So what I'm saying here, you don't have absolute, in order for you, everything you will happen, you have to have what? An ultimate power, absolute power, which is something you don't possess. Allah possessed that. That's why whatever He wills, He allowed it to happen. So here, He reminding this man to get into his knees and to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's favor upon him. ما شاء الله لا قوة إلا بالله. Ya salam. And he said, there is no power but with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you power, it is part of His power. The power to make money, the power to make decisions, the power to achieve success, the power to heal, the power to help. All this, it is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enabled you to do it. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He didn't allow it, would not happen. هنا مسألة, for those who benefit from it, أهل السنة والجماعة, they believe أن مشيئة الرب تتعلق بكل موجود وكل معدوم وليس فقط كل موجود. We know that Allah's will is related to everything that is exist and non-exist. A lot of people think that Allah's will only has to do with the thing that exists. Even things does not exist, it is because Allah never willed it. That's why it's not exist. طيب. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills something or didn't will something, إنما يشاء وفق حكمته. His will, it is following His wisdom. And His wisdom is based on His ultimate, absolute knowledge, perfect knowledge. وحكمته مبناها على كمال علمه سبحانه وتعالى. So, some scholars said that whenever you see something you like and you love so much, you should say like what this man told the kafir to say. Whenever you see something you like so much, you say what? ما شاء الله لا قوة إلا بالله. Other ulama said no, you should say تبارك الله. Why? Because the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam told the man when he saw something, he loved it so much, and unfortunately he gave that person an evil eye, and he fall, فسقط يتلبط, يعني he fall on the ground. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was angry when this man said, wow, this is like he gave him like, he looked at him and he was like surprised by how fair color his skin is. Anyway, then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, when you see something like that, you should say, Tabarakallah. Tabarakallah. I was watching a video last week, okay, of a beautiful horse and the horseman coming. And this guy, it's in a wedding. And they were like, he's showing off the groom coming on a horse. Okay, and the guy sitting next to the one who's taking the picture. Then he said like, whoa, what a horse. Immediately the horse collapsed and the guy fall off and the horse broke his legs. Just immediately. A'udhu billah. Some people are like unbelievable. Their eyes is just evil, and it comes out of it. Anyway, So Nabi told this man, Halla barakt. You should say Tabarakallah. You should say Tabarakallah. And is there a contradiction? No, you can say both. You can say Tabarakallah, you say MashaAllah, La quwwata illa billah, and so forth. He said, In tarani ana aqalla minka mala wa walada. Ya salam. He said, if you say, okay, it may be that, he said, it may be that my Lord will give me something better than your gardens and will send a husband. No. Then he said, if you see me less than you in wealth and children, okay, it may be that my Lord will give me something better than your garden and your basically sons and children. In tarani ana aqalla minka malan wa walada. Now he covered the issue of Tawheed and the shirk and denying the day of judgment, and now he talked about the personal thing. And that's a very interesting point. If you notice, he didn't start with the personal thing. So nobody think that this conversation is personal, about me having less, having less children or less, it's okay, he's old. It's just in a nice way, just tell him. Okay. So he starts with the issue of Tawheed, Haqq Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah's rights, about Tawheed and no shirk. Then now he talked about him personally. He said, if you think you have much more children and more wealth than me, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give me better than this. فَعَسَى رَبِّي أَن يُؤْتِيَنِي خَيْرًا مِّن جَنَّتِكَ. He said, so Allah might give me better than your garden and your children. Question for you guys. Maybe Allah will give me better than your garden and your wealth and you. He referring to what? He give me better than your garden. In the dunya or in the akhirah? Both. Ya salam. Excellent. That's what we're looking for. Both. And huna fa'ida. This here's something to learn. It's not wrong that you wish in the dunya that you have gardens and wealth and money and it's not something wrong. It's not something wrong to wish to have, I wish to have a ranch, I wish to have a villa, I wish to have the best cars, I wish to have, a lot of wealth. That's not something wrong. He said, فَعَسَى رَبَّ يُؤْتِنِي خَيْرًا مِّن جَنَّتِكَ. Maybe Allah will give me better than what you have. So there is nothing wrong with you to wish something from this dunya. And also in the akhirah as well. This is Al-Ulama rahimahumullah, scholars in Tafseer, talked about, did he make a dua or he just made a wish? I don't see the big deal here, because in the end of the day, even if it's a wish a form of request. Yeah, and wish in a form of dua. So it could be both. قال هو رجاء أم هو دعاء والذي يظهر أنهما مرتبطان إن المعنيين متقاربان. طيب. Then he said after that, ويرسل عليها حسبانا من السماء فتصبح صعيدا زلقا. It's very strange what he said after that. So he won better than his garden, but he said something very strange. He said, and will send on it husban, torment, punishment, fire, destroy it. You destroy your gardens from the sky. Then it will be as a burns slippery earth. That's very, isn't that, somebody said, isn't that very evil? Maybe somebody said that. He wish, he said, may Allah give me better than your house, and may Allah destroy your house. Even some people might say, isn't that envy? Because what's the definition of envy? Your definition of envy is to have what other people have from what you don't have, and you wish that they end up not having what you have. That's too complicated. I'm just messing with you. That envy is to wish that to have what other people have and and to strip them from it. So he wants him to be stripped from this garden, from all this wealth, and he will have it and better. And here, al-ulama rahimahumullah said, no. This man, when he said, and send a punishment to your garden from the heavens, قال هذا تخويف. He was warning him, not making dua against him. He, like, as he made a wish for himself, he was making a warning for that man. Be careful that things can change. Those who was rich can be poor, and those who are poor can be rich. Maybe I will be rich tomorrow, and maybe you will be destroyed tomorrow. Maybe you will be poor tomorrow. It's like when I say, hey, we are in America, we have to be careful. If we don't pay attention, we might end up like what's happening in Europe. It's not making dua against my place or my country. No, I'm just warning that be careful not this to happen to you. So he said, أو يرسل عليها حسبانا من السماء. Al-Husban, Ibn Abbas said, Al-Adhab, torment. That's why he translated it this way. A punishment, something that will destroy. Not only that, Husban. Anybody here, min minkum, يعرف أصل كلمة حسبان? Can you think of the root of the word Husban? There is another word familiar to the word Husban? Yes? But what hasiba? What's the word hisab? Hasab, calculating. Hasab, hisab, calculation. Okay? So what's the connection between adhab, torment, and calculation? Why these two words, even though the meaning are completely different, comes from the same root? Isn't that interesting? They have carried two different meanings, but they come from the same exact root. The punishment of Allah is well calculated. Ahsant. Is not a punishment that just like that. No, it is well calculated. And the word husban here, it means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will bring a punishment to your place and to your garden, well calculated, well planned. That's why Al-Arab, they say, إِنَّهُ يَرْمِي بِحُسْبَانٍ. When you have the arrow and you put it in the في كبد القوس, in the bow, and you stretch and you aim carefully, then you let it go, they call that husban, because you calculated very well. So the word husban, it means, some of the Salaf said, it is rocks, cold, fire, but torment is something very general, actually cover all these examples that have been mentioned by some of the Sahaba and the Tabi'een and the scholars of Tafseer, but it is well calculated, and that gives fear in the heart. Be careful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will calculate exactly, and He will exactly give you what you deserve. طيب, from the sky. Why He said from the sky? إيش فائدة من السماء? Yalla, girl side today. Why He said from the sky, you think? Why He didn't say He will send punishment to you from the earth or without, from the sky? What it gives you? Yes, Aql. Coming from Allah. The ulama said when He referred to sky, to tell him it is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, it is known that this is the one that you disbelieved in Him. He's the one who's going to send down the punishment on you. And usually what comes from the sky, you cannot push it back. يقولون ما نزل من السماء لا يدفع. What comes from the heavens cannot be provided. You cannot fight it. Okay, just think about that. Think about everything comes from the sky. Can you protect yourself from it? It just rain. It rain. You can't stop the rain. Hey, hold on, let me pull it back. You see, you can build dams and stuff like that, stop the sea, but you can't stop the rain. You can't stop the thunder. Whatever comes from the sky, you can't stop. It's huge, big. You can't stop the wind when it blows on you. You can't stop that. SubhanAllah, it's amazing how it just put that fear in the heart. فَتُصْبِحَ صَعِيدًا زَلَقًا. He said, it's interesting. Let me see if how he translated those. Then he said, from the sky, it will be as burned, slippery earth. Here he didn't put the word. He said, فَتُصْبِحْ. Yani you will find it in the morning, a burned land, slippery. Why he said in the morning? Why he put that word in the middle? فَتُصْبِحَ صَعِيدًا زَلَقًا. Why he didn't say it will be انتهينا? Yes? The question is, Allah said in the Quran, فَتُصْبِحَ صَعِيدًا زَلَقًا. Yani in the morning you found your land like burned and slippery, nothing in it. After all these gardens and rivers. Why did he say in the morning? What's the point from mentioning the time of finding out about the punishment? It is more scary when you hear the bad news when you first wake up. Even it's a culture thing. I don't know about other culture, but like where I grew up, ya sabbah, ya sabah al khair. You know, it's always like in the morning after Fajr. I always goes like to some brothers here said, hey, after Fajr, by the way, we have fundraising for Iman Academy. Would you? Yeah, sabah al khair. We just started the day. What's fundraising? You know. It just, people usually in the morning, not in the mood to get all the bad news. That's why it's very bad idea to, huh? What is that? Oh, bad example. Sorry. Okay. That's how they feel about it. I don't feel that way. Okay. So anyway, you tell people about bad news in the morning, it's scary. You just wake up and the bad news. So here لأنها أوقع في المصيبة فتصبح صعيدا. يعني in the morning you go to sleep feeling so comfortable, you control everything, your garden is perfect, and you go to sleep, you wake up, everything destroyed. You go to sleep healthy, you go to sleep, your kids safe, you wake up, everybody dead, everybody's sick. What happened? Just last night everything. And he was telling him that it is just in a matter of you wake up and that's it, and everything gone. It's very powerful way of saying it. أو يصبح ماؤها غورا. Then he said, or the water, therefore, of the garden becomes deep, sink underground. What's the point he's trying to make? Because if there's no water, no life. خلاص, no garden. أو يصبح ماؤها غورا. الغور, it is something you cannot reach with hand nor with dila. لا بالأيدي ولا بالدلاء. Nor you can dig it and make a well. You can't. So it goes in the sink and sucked by the earth. You can't reach it at all. It's impossible to reach it. أو يصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين. Allah said in the Quran, if your water goes in the earth, no one can bring it back to you. It's amazing how he reminding him of different scenarios can happen to your garden that it will lead to the destruction of your garden. Here the dialogue stopped. وأحيط بثمره. العلماء رحمهم الله said وأحيط. There is harf here to call wow. وأحيط. And, okay, and he had no, he didn't say and, he said so his fruit were basically ruined. His fruit were destroyed. وأحيط بثمره. العلماء رحمه الله said ما جاء بفاء التعقيب فأحيط, which it shows you that between the conversation and the punishment was a period of time. You know, if he said فأحيط بثمره, fa, it means immediately the punishment came. But وأحيط, it means later on, and later on, that's what happened to him. Why? Allah give him even more chance after the reminder to see what he will do, to see if he's going to change. Okay? Also, so you don't link the two together, that the destruction of his garden was the result of the dua of the believers. هذا ليس أصل نتيجة الدعاء. It is because of the disbelief of the person. Pay attention to this. I say it one more time. So you will not think that Allah destroyed the garden of the disbeliever because of the wish or the dua of the believer. No, Allah destroying it because of the disbeliever disbelieved in Allah, because of this disbeliever arrogance, because of his attitude. Because of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed him. وَأُحِيط comes, the word ahata, it comes from all surrounding. So basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that everything he possessed destroyed. And he mentioned the fruit as an example. Are you following? And some said no. It means all the fruits were destroyed. Even the fruits that can survive the harshest climate, like date, also destroyed. إذن الإحاطة إما بماله كله والثمر جزء يراد به الكل أو أحيط بالثمر كله. So here العلماء رحمهم الله تعالى said, these two opinions, said that Allah subhanahu destroyed everything he has. Guys, if I say Allah destroyed everything he has, or Allah destroyed the fruits of his garden, what's the difference? What's the difference between the two statements? Say that again? Because you might say, it doesn't sound any different. It sounds the same. They are completely different. Allah destroyed his fruits, the fruit and the vegetables that he has in his garden, or you say Allah destroyed his garden. Yes? So saying destroying the garden, that means that the fruit, the trees, you know, the water, the soil, is everything destroyed. But the fruit, it means he still have the garden, he still have the trees, but only thing destroyed was what? The fruits. So he can reproduce again later on. These two opinions between the scholars. Everyone has a point, to be honest with you. But what it looks to me, wallahu a'lam, is that what was destroyed only the fruits, not the garden itself. And that's out of Allah's mercy to give him a chance to come back and to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Go ahead.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu an la ilaha أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
As I said, so those who said his fruits only destroyed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him another chance. It's out of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. And you can see this work because next what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. فأصبح يقلب كفيه على ما أنفق فيها وهي خاوية على عروشها يقول يا ليتني لم أشرك بربي أحدا. إذن هو اعتبر. He said when he saw his garden destroyed, I wish I did not associate other with Allah. So that means the man realized that he was wrong. So that second chance worked with him. Other ulama said, no, Allah destroyed everything he has. And actually, when he saw all these distractions, when he said, I wish that I did not associate other with Allah, they said that he said that in hellfire. Yani Allah telling us in the Quran what this man will say in the hellfire. He actually continued in his kufr until he died, and he said that in the hellfire. I wish I did not associate other with Allah. Question. Those who said, he said that in the hellfire, يعني where did he get that from? يعني من أين جاءوا في السياق بأن الكلام في جهنم? There is nothing in the verses talks about him dying and going to hellfire. Then he says in the hellfire, I wish I didn't associate with Allah. Why there is someone interpreted this way? Nobody helped him. But this is the second verse. This is came after. Yeah, he said nobody helped. Nobody had offered him help or protection to protect his garden from Allah's punishment. But why did they say that he will say that in hellfire? The key point is قوله يا ليتني لأن كلمة ليت حرف الامتناع للامتناع. Because it means he never ever came back to the tawheed. But to be honest with you, that understanding it's not a very strong, because امتناع وقوعه في الماضي. He did not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he was reminded, and he was sorry for that. That's why I believe the strongest opinion that this is in the dunya. He said that, and he basically do like this. يقلب كفيه. He basically hit his hands like that, and this is showing a sense of what? Loss. Is this in every culture? Like this? When you do like that? How about, let's say, in Desi culture? Is that when you do like this? How about in Trinidad? No, like when you lose everything, you said, that's all destroyed, man. Do you do that? No. How about African? Like this. India. Okay. How about India? Chapati? Like this? What do we do? Pakistan, man. like this, like, yeah. Okay, good. America, Hispanic, anybody? In American culture, is that? Oh my God, that's all gone. Do they do? This is right. Okay. Uh, anyway, that's an expression that the Quran mentioned. It's very common in Arabic culture that they do. They hit their hands like this when they feel so sorry and regret what they have done. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and he had no group of men, these children, these followers, to help him against Allah, nor could be defend or saved himself with all the wealth that he has, with all the power that he claimed. At that point, basically, you remember that al-walayatu lillah al-haq. Al-walaya أيضا قرأت الولاية. هنالك الولاية لله الحق. It's like the word وكالة وكالة بالفتح والكسر. Okay. هنالك الولاية لله الحق. There is another قراءة الحق. So al-haq is a description to al-wilaya. Okay? Or al-haq, description to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why one's maksura and one's marfu'a. Anyway, and basically the victory, the support. Because what's wilayah mean? Wali, it means supporter. It means one defend, the one who give aid. So this only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to those who deserve it. And huwa khayrun thawaban wa khayrun uqba. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basically when he gives, when he support, when he reward, there is nothing similar to his reward or support subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said after that, and put forward for them examples of life. And we will talk about this. But let's derive some lessons from the story of these two men. Number one, شكر نعمة الله سبب دوام النعمة. Being grateful and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the reasons for your blessings to continue. Anytime the قرية كانت آمنة مطمئنة يأتيها رزقها رغدا. It's a village that live in safety, peace, tranquility. Allah said in the Quran, the provision comes to it from every corner. فكفرت بأنعم الله فأذاقها الله لباس الخوف والجوع. They disbelieved in Allah and Allah destroyed them. Yani, by the way, I don't want to say this on record, but there is no nation and there is no one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will destroy and will make them suffer like this unless they have shown a certain level of being ungrateful to Allah. Because why don't I say this on record? Because some people can connect two together and become misunderstand the point. وإذ تأذن ربكم لئن شكرتم لأزيدنكم ولئن كفرتم إن عذابي لشديد. If you disbelieve in me after what I gave you, my punishment is severe. And being grateful to Allah appear in three ways. In your heart. Inside your heart, you're grateful to Allah. You always inside your heart, you know, وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. Every blessing that you have, it is from Allah. With your tongue, you always say, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Before you say, I study hard, you say, Alhamdulillah, I got A in my exam. Before you say, you know, I succeed, I did, Alhamdulillah. Da'iman Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes first before anyone else. Also through your action. How can you be grateful to Allah and your action shows absolutely the opposite? You never donate anything for the sake of Allah. You never help people. You never show any humility. You don't show any form of gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another lesson, dialogue is a manhaj rabbani. It's something Al-Quran teaches us. That we should have an open dialogue with people who we disagree with. Like the dialogue took place between the mu'min and the kafir. And it should be according to what Allah said in the Quran, ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن. When you argue with someone, make the best of the speech. So the best of point, the most logical one, the most effective one, the most, the touchy one, the best language, and so forth. أيضا, unfortunately today, we don't talk, we fight. Look at the Muslim world today. 28 civil wars in the Muslim world. Almost. Almost every corner, every region in the Muslim world, there is a war. Look at the Muslim community in general. They don't know how to dialogue. They don't know how to speak to each other. They don't know how to argue their point, to disagree with each other. They fight with one another. Look at parents, look at family, look at spouses. We need to learn how to dialogue, how to have a civil dialogue, a civil conversation, and back and forth. Talk to each other, not at each other. Number 3, dialogue give you an opportunity to think, to reevaluate. Dialogue bring us closer to each other, because so many times we have all these misconceptions about each other. But when we start dealing with each other, talking to each other, this misconception goes away. Many times with many du'at, with many groups, with many activists, with many religious groups or political groups, when we start a dialogue, things melt down. We feel that there is basically not that a big of distance between us and many others that we at one point consider them the most enemy of us. Also, whenever we have a dialogue, we should have a noble goal. Anytime we start a dialogue with the community, we have to know what's the purpose of the dialogue, what's the hadaf, what's the goal that we want to achieve. The dialogue must be clear and clear goals and with clear language. And if you notice this dialogue between the believer and disbeliever, it was very clear. And sometimes he's very soft, very firm, and dialogue, it doesn't mean to give up the truth. Dialogue, it doesn't mean you compromise your principles. Dialogue, it doesn't mean that you change what you're believing in. That's not what dialogue for. Also, one of the lessons that we learn, that al-aqibah lit-taqwa, the outcome always for the muttaqeen. And the story is very clear about that. Not for those who have money, not for those who have followers, not for those who have status, not for those who are famous. No. What the real victory comes in the end for those who depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the lessons, there is no harm to wish something from the worldly life, like what he wished the garden. There is nothing wrong with that. By the way, he never wished that man's garden to be destroyed. I didn't mention that. It's not hasad, it's not envy. He didn't envy them. And the proof for that in the beginning of the conversation he told him, go to your garden, say, MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah. He's telling him and teaching him what will protect his garden and will make it continue producing fruits, which is being a believer. So he never wished for him to lose his garden. But he was warning them from the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, the one of the biggest thing in this story, it tells us about two fitna, two trials, which is fitnatul mal wa fitnatul banun. The fitna of wealth and the fitna of children. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said later on in the surah, المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا. So المال والبنون, children and wealth, are زينة. انتبه, المال والبنون هما زينة وليس قيمة للإنسان. Your wealth and your children are something Allah bless you to beautify you, something beautiful to have. But that's not what identify who you are. If your kids are the best kids in the world, it doesn't make you the best person. If your kid's the worst people in the world, that doesn't make you bad. Okay? If you have the whole entire wealth of the world, doesn't make you a good person. If you are poor, doesn't make you a bad person. Because this is not qima. That's not who you are. Who you are determined by your actions. Determined by what you do with your kids. What you do with your wealth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given you. And if this is the case, that should how we look at children. We look at family status. We look at lineage. We should look at wealth in this way. We see it a tool that lead us to good deeds. Lead us to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah told in the Quran, وَمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَلَا أَوْلَادُكُمْ بِالَّتِي تُقَرِّبُكُمْ عِنْدَنَا زُلْفَى. Don't think your children, your wealth will bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِلَّا مَنْ آمَنَ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. Except those who believe in Allah and do good deeds. So your children, if you see them an opportunity to invest in them that in a way bring you closer to Allah, that's fine. Like what the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, when you die, your deeds stop except from 3. One of it, a righteous son. Then he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also warn us from this fitna, because sometimes these the children and the wealth can be the reason for us to neglect our deen. So many times, these two specifically, children and wealth, can be the reason for so many wrong things we do in life. People will take the haram money. Why? My children. People will stop giving sadaqah. Why? College education. People stop doing, his wife is bad, is a'udhu billah, all for the sake of children. Her husband is terrible, but for the sake of children. You know, and children, and family, and my wife and my husband, and don't go to the salah. Why? I'm with the kids, I'm with this. You know, it's became a problem. That's why Sufyan al-Thawri قال مرة قال يؤتى بالرجل يوم القيامة فيقال أكل عياله حسناته. ولذلك كان بعض السلف يقولون العيال سوس الطاعات. This narration from a Salaf, and there is a plenty of them saying that children can the reason for destroying your good deeds. And all the good deeds that you have, you basically wasted it. Because became, and there is an example in the Prophet ﷺ time when people did not migrate to Medina just because you want to stay with the children in Mecca. So sometimes we make a lot of decisions for children, for family, for spouses, which is wrong decision, hurt us in the day of judgment just because my spouse wants that, just because I want to please my children. You know, my daughter come cry to me, oh, I want to travel with no mahram, and she want this and she want that, and you, just because of your weakness, you said go, and you believe it's haram, and you take the sin of it. You know, she said, I want to go to school, and you know it's haram for you to do this kind of loans or take this haram money, but you do it just because of the kids. And you do that. So here, the point, it's a very interesting concept that maybe other time we can focus on it even more. One of the reasons for people to fail in this fitna, not to pass this test, the money especially, when this fitna settle in your heart, ta'isa abdud dinar, when the love of money is inside your heart. The money is not in your hand, the money inside your heart. سيأتي على الناس زمان يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. And this hadith al-Bukhari, there will come a time لا يبالي المرء أخذ المال من حلال أو حرام. There will a time will come and the person doesn't care. This money comes from halal or haram. I don't care. One of the reasons for people to fail in this fitna, when the wealth and the children, the family, because something that you want to show off with. Oh, show off with my family, show off my lineage, my family, how many members of my family are, and so forth. إنما الحياة الدنيا لعب وله وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد. Also, one of the things that protect you in this fitna, the test of wealth and children, that you have an absolute tawheed lillah azza wa jal, absolute love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That nothing above Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your heart and your mind. Also, one of the lessons, always remember Allah's power over you. One of the lessons from this story, as the mu'min told the disbeliever, he said, Ma sha'Allahu la quwwata illa billah. Always remember this. Every time you're in a situation where things not clear, remember that Allah above you and He's stronger than you. One of the lessons from this story, that you should repent to Allah even if the punishment fall upon you. Where do we get this from? Because the man, when Allah destroyed his garden, he still repented to Allah. Okay? So even if the punishment happened, you don't say khala. No. You repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As long as you're alive, your repentance counts. Also, one of the lessons from this story, to take a good friend who remind you, who will advise you, who will pull you back, he will give you the true advice. As-sadiq man sadaqak, la man saddaqak. True friends are the one who tells you the truth, not to tell you what you want to hear. Also, one of the things that we learned from this last story, التسلي بما عند الله عن شهوات الدنيا. That when he said, may Allah will give me better than your garden. Yani sometimes when you see, you know what, this guy, mashallah, have all this blessings and cars and wife and, you know, Ammar, see, for example, Waleed, mashallah, or Ahmad, he's happy in a family, has a wife, and he said, I'm single man, I feel bad. But we tell him, you know, be patient, inshallah, al-hur al-een in front of you. You know, so he, you know, it's something help you to stay your course. Okay, Abdurrahman, okay, don't worry. Okay, Abu Hamra. So we tell the person that, you know what, he look at the Jannah, what it has. It make you deal with this fitna. Also, from the lessons from this story, you're allowed to make dua against the transgressor. That's why one of the things that the ulama said, that he made dua against him that Allah destroy him. One of the opinion. So that also shows that it's possible. But I want to tell you something. Making dua against someone is not the best option. ليش؟ يقول ابن القيم لأن الدعاء إنما شرع لجلب الخير لا لجلب الشر. Because the concept of dua originally, Allah made it for you to invoke good to happen, not bad to happen. Yani originally a dua is about, Ya Rab, let good things happen, not Ya Rab, let bad things to happen. But you are allowed. Somebody transgressor, you can make dua against them. Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah, every time somebody tell him about these rulers or transgressors, people doing bad, he has a very famous say. He said, Allahumma addilha aw baddilha. He said, Ya Rab, fix him or replace him. So very beautiful. He always pray for the person first, then after that may Allah remove him. Also, I want you to pay attention to this. The disbeliever said, in the day of judgment, I will have better. And the believer said, I wish that Allah will give me better in the day of judgment. Did you notice? Both have hope in the day of judgment, but one is false and one is true. How did we recognize false hope from true hope? Raja'un واغترار, we call it. How did we tell the difference? Based on the actions in the dunya. The believers, his hope did not stop him from believing. The disbeliever, his hope did not stop him from disbelieving in Allah. Is that clear? Okay. Also, arrogance lead to hypocrisy, lead to kufr. Arrogance make people reject truth, insist in rejecting the truth, faring away from the sunnah, and arrogant is a distraction in itself. Unfortunately, I could not go over the next verse, which is about the water. I told you to do your homework. Anybody have looked the water? Just, I'm curious to know. Okay, you have one more week. Good job. Look at what's the point, or how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He said the example of this life like water. What's the relationship between water and dunya? Why the example of water was given to represent dunya? I said I have about many points. At least think about 5.